So you are welcome to this stage in which we'll be converting our data set from wide to long formats. So you can get the do file from the website as well. So we start by creating directory. So just like I told you, in case you are close this window, the starter window, and you are opening it afresh, you need to tell Stata to take note of this directory because that's where you'll be loading the file from. So we have our clean data set now. So, and that's what we'll be using. Let's say let's use it now. So for the sake of reference to see what has transpired, what has happened to our file, let's just list the record of this individual. So this person has got multiple records. You can see it. So the next thing we are going to do is to create a data set file with only the end event. The idea is to split the data set into two. One containing the end events related variables. The other one will contain the start event related variable, and now to join them, union or append them. Okay, just like I showed you in the introductory lecture. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Is by keeping the end related end event and the end date, and also the identifiers, which we always repeat themselves. Okay, so we have done that now. So now we're going to also generate file, create this file as a variable, and immediately allocate ones to all those files. Okay, we have done that as well. Okay, so let's list. Okay, so now we have a data set now with all the end event, the two end event variable, and the file that we have used to denote that particular file. So the next thing is to rename these two variables. Mind you, we want to merge them together, want to append them together, the one coming from the end event and the start event. So we need a uniform name for these two major variables. So we are going to rename end event to event code, and rename end date to event date, so that they will be uniform. Okay, so we have done that. So we can as well list. Okay, so you can be able to take note of what has happened now. Then another thing we are going to do is to sort rather. So order is a different command entirely in Stata. So because I'm used to SQL working with SQL Server, so order is sort in SQL. So it's pardon me for that. So I'm going to sort ID an event day and save it as end event.bta data set. End event. Okay. Let me name it this way. End event data set. Okay. End event. Know that all the renaming that we have been doing so far has not affected our clean data set. So because we have not saved. So now in order to preserve that, because we are still going to bring it in order to create this start event data set. So what are we going to do is to save using a different name entirely. So without double quotes, data will still allow you, but for the sake of consistency, the way we have been doing, let's just maintain that standard. So, okay, so that has been run. So if you check your folder where you have been saving all your file, you are going to find this there. Okay, so we are done with the first part. So we are going to do exactly what we did initially at this stage as well. So let me add nationality to this one. So we have DOD, DOB, DOD, Note that they must be arranged accordingly, otherwise there's going to be a problem. Okay, so we go back to our clean data set again. Note that. So we go back to our clean data. We say use, we keep, then we generate file. We are generating two. These two will be able to tell us that okay, all these data sets are coming from the second one, which is the start event. Then we rename, then we save, we sort by hide and event day, then we save. Okay, we save as start event .dta, start event dataset .dta. Okay, so let's run this part. All right, so we are doing great. Okay, so we have saved it. We can as well view it. Okay, so now let's start by viewing the first one. The first one is this. Yeah, the second one is something is that event. So let's pick that particular variable on list. Okay, so you can see that record for that individual. You can see the second record. Let's maximize. So the idea is to combine them together. You can see how they look originally, how they will look now eventually. So initially, all the files they used to be two. Now they at the end of our listing, they are going to be. So that's what we'll be doing here. So we are going to see our records. So we can list, which we have already done. Now this is to append, use, then append using down. Okay, so there's a mistake there. Supposed to be DTA. This one's supposed to be DTA. Just like I said, this data is very sensitive. Alright. So in the course, appending is quite different from merging, because merging you have to base it on an ID that is common to them. So this one too, you have the names of the variables must all be equal. This command is not compulsory, so it's just to be able to denote how many I have in the first one. And that double slash is also another kind of commenting. So like if you want to comment in front of the code, you can use that. So what has happened is that we have 20. We have basically done is to split. We have 20,508 record in the first one. When you multiply that by 2, you get 14,1016. So we have appended. So if the number of records that you have in the first one is not equal to the one you have in the second one, that means there's a problem with the way you have appended it, your data. So let's list now. Okay, just like I said, we have got four records. Now we need to label these two. They have not been properly labeled. Okay, so this command here, we do the magic. We first of all create a label define kind of function. So we are going to name it event lab. This is event label. You can name it any name that you are comfortable with. So we are going to say 0 is equal to enumeration, 1 is equal to bet, which is BTH, 2 is IMG in migration, 3 is out migration, 4 is death, 5 is current. Note that we are not doing any recoding. We are just allocating label, string label to the numeric values. After you have done that, say modify. If it is already, okay, let's see. Okay, that has been done. So it's already in the memory now. So now we pick this variable that we created and now apply this label. Now, if we say list again to view the records, you can see everything has now been done correctly. Let's drop this file because we've been able to achieve our objective sort of. And if you look at the data, there's something you will notice that OMG is following OMG. It is because of the date. So we can as well sort ID. Must not forget that. And event date. Okay. Let's view the records again. Oh, it's complaining of the file. Remember, we have deleted a file variable. That one has finished its mission. So let's delete file and rerun. Okay, enumeration followed by out migration, just like we had it in the original table. So let's populate to see this distribution of the event code. Okay, good. This is good. Let's save. So that brings us to the end of our transformation. Okay, so we can now save it. Now, if you've not got this properly, I will also suggest that you will start from the beginning. So the idea is to break it down into pieces, like look at the record at each stage of the way. One of my mentors told me that in order to hit an elephant, what you need to do is to cut it into pieces. So eat it little by little, little by little. Then you'll be able to finish the entire elephant. That will be the conservationist will not run after me. So it's just a kind of illustration to the fact that if you want to do a difficult task, the best thing is to cut it into pieces. So just work with an individual at a time. Study what is happening to that particular individual. So what is happening to that variable, to the records.